What's going on, YouTube? Let's get right into it, because there's plenty of policy positions rolling hot and heavy out of both political campaigns at this point, and I'm kind of honestly interested to talk about it today, because right as I'm going to eat lunch today, I'm reading some Twitter, just scrolling through. Kamala drops a new policy position from the Harris-Walz campaign. I got a couple notes because I couldn't remember it all off the top of my head, but there was two announcements that I saw. One was basically focused on black men. She says that a bunch of times, and I'm going to end up saying the word black a bunch while I'm talking about this, but that's just because she wrote it 50 million times into the statement. But I think overall, this focus is coming from the fact that she's lost a lot of support in black men, according to polling that I've seen personally. Go look yourself. I don't know. I don't have a poll offhand or anything like that, but like Democrats normally rely heavily on the minority vote and hence the black vote in America. And I think lately they've been taking it as a given in the last couple of elections. And I think Trump in general has taken more and more of the minority vote the last two elections. Like, he's taking a bigger share each time. Definitely with Hispanic people, basically Mexican people. South American, I guess, but and then also like black men are voting for Trump more than they are in the past, have voted for Republicans in the past. So I think she's trying to focus and I guess get the word out and try to, I mean, basically we boil it all down. She's just trying to buy votes at this point. I mean, we're getting into this age of, I mean, this is one in a long line of them doing this at this point. Democrats, I think, overall are doing it a little more, but Trump's doing it quite a bit himself. What do you say? No tax on car loan interest. What the fuck? I mean, you're incentivizing people to buy expensive ass cars. In my opinion, that's bad. Like, you shouldn't be buying cars, period, with a loan at all if you can avoid it, and definitely not a loan big enough that your interest being deducted from your taxes would make a marginal change in your life. Not positive. Overall, I think the whole statement is same thing as student loans. So if you're watching this and you think, oh, that's a good reason, I would that sways me to vote for her, which I don't know who reads this shit on Twitter and is like, okay, maybe I'll vote for her, besides people that already support them agree that it's a good idea. There's a couple points in here that are not bad anyway. Like, I agree that makes perfect sense. How they're going to do it or if they'll ever do it, nowhere to be found. And in my guess, if you're taking my word right now, if Kamala wins and then says she's going to implement this shit isn't happening. This shit mostly isn't happening anyway. It's just platitudes and empty promises. Like I said, student loan level type shit. Like, how'd that work out for you? They promise all this shit. They never have the power. They don't have the power to do that. You can't just promise free money to people. I mean, you can. Will they ever do it? I don't know. They try. I mean, if you watch any of the other videos, you know what I think about the United States and our fucking atrocious spending problem our government has, where they just shovel money out the door. But let's get into this real quick. The big headline thing that everybody was talking about and why I saw it originally was unusual whales. I don't know if you follow them on Twitter for any reason, but if you don't, follow them. It's a good follow. They're always keeping up with big stock market news and things like that. That's one of the best Twitter accounts I think there is. The staple of this statement they came out with was $1,020,000 loans for black entrepreneurs and others. They worded it like that. I don't know what that means, and others. I mean, hopefully that means everybody, because that's a little weird to be like, all right, if you're black, you can have a $20,000 loan. If you're white, Mexican, Chinese, go fuck yourself. You're not getting anything. And the cherry on top is it's completely forgivable. Another empty part of this, though, is I have no idea what they mean by forgivable, in the sense of like what you have to do to make it forgivable. Is it just they give you $20,000 for free? I mean, I don't know why we're calling it a loan if it's forgivable. Who knows? But people are getting their nuts in a twist about it because, yeah, I mean, the way she worded it, obviously, the statement is aimed at black men, so she focused on it. So I'm hoping to God, that it's, in theory, you want to put it out there, you do it for everybody to at least be fair, but it's a little wild to say it like that. I mean, it's easily construed as in, like, not everybody can get it, only very certain people can get it. And yeah, what's that? $20,000, a million loans, $20 billion, completely forgivable. So print that off, get that off the presses real quick. 20 billion. At this point, I don't even know if 20 billion is a lot or not, because we spend so much fucking money. I mean, 20 billion is at the same time like a small drop in the bucket of what is the U.S. federal budget. Like, not a small one, it's a decent sized drop. And also, it's more money than you've ever seen in your life. And literally, I would say most, like 50% of the population doesn't even understand how big 20 billion is. Like, the concept of billion is lost on a lot of people. Like, after you go past million, you're losing people at billion. You're losing people at billion. I don't know how many, but it's literally, I mean, I get it. It's hard to, it's literally hard to imagine. So yeah, forgivable loan, 20 big ones. Where's that come from? They print it. That's where that's going to come from. Unless they raise your taxes, I guess. And if it's forgivable, that means the government just is shelling out 20 billion with no money coming in. And I guess their argument maybe would be additional tax income from the businesses these people would create. Like, anybody who got this loan, they would create a business and they provide some additional tax revenue. I don't know. Sure, whatever. I mean, most of them are going to fail. I mean, what's the startup rate? Like, I don't know if these would count as startups, but like, startups fail at like 50-50 shot that your business is going to fail as an entrepreneur or whatever. So good luck. I mean, there goes 10 billion just for nothing maybe, and then maybe the other 10 billion ends up being worth something in the long run. I mean, hopefully. And the rest of this stuff, like, honestly, it's not bad. It's just the loan thing was the big headline. That's like, what the fuck? $20 billion? We're just going to throw $20 billion at people? I mean, the rest was like support and education for black men that would lead to good jobs. Yeah, like, okay, yeah, what the fuck are the public schools for? Isn't that what the public schools for? Also, they didn't mention women at all. No black women. If you're a black woman, I guess you can fuck off. Like, I don't know what the point of that was. Well, that one, they specifically were for like black men. And it's like, yes, we want everybody to have good jobs. That is what public high school is for. What the fuck are we doing? You go to high school, it's a dick around fest. I mean, I didn't learn shit in high school, to be honest with you. By the time I got to college, I was so far behind. I went to some little tiny high school in the town I'm from, literally like graduated with like 30 people. You don't learn shit. I mean, and college is a joke as it is, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, but I wasn't prepared to go to college. My school, I think, technically was like the best one in our county as far as like state test scores and stuff. But I mean, what were we doing? I mean, we were just like playing Clash of Clans senior year and shit. Like, I never had homework, I don't think, ever once in my life in high school. Like, I could get all the work done at the school. I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but it wasn't really challenging to me, I don't think, in any way. So what are the public schools for if we're not getting people good jobs after? You should be able to go to high school and get a good job. We had stuff like career centers and things like that. You could go and become like I don't know, you want to be a fucking diesel mechanic? It's not like we don't need diesel mechanics, but I didn't want to do that shit. Like, I'll work on my own car. I don't want to work on cars all day. And it was like, what, IT, computer stuff, and cosmetology or whatever. Like, the tech center was very like, I don't know. I'm sure they had other things, but I didn't go, and I wasn't paying that much attention. I didn't want to do any of that stuff. And then you would just sit at high school and go to astronomy class or whatever. And I mean, it's interesting, but it's not challenging in any way, really. So, I don't know. Take that for what you will. I guess we're going to just more support, more education. That's what the school is supposed to be for. Why the fuck are you not using the public school to do that? That's a whole nother conversation. I've already talked about it a little bit. We need to retool that whole shit because, I mean, public school is kind of a joke overall. And I can only imagine these big city schools how much of a joke it is because it's probably horrible. Another point was they're going to protect crypto investments for black men. I'm invested in crypto personally. Like, I have a decent amount of money in crypto right now. And I don't think there's that many people that own crypto. It's just not that widely adopted. So, I mean, I feel like that's a really niche thing to do. Like, I mean, great, yeah, whatever. I don't know how do you protect their investment? Like, if you invest in shitty crypto, which, I mean, if you ask some people, they'll say all of it's shitty. Like, I'm in Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's it. Ethereum's, or I guess I have like $40 in Cardano or some shit like that. But almost 98, 99% of the money is in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And Ethereum's on the edge of like, where I'm like, this doesn't really make any sense to me. Bitcoin, I get the idea. Do I think it's like necessarily an asset? I don't know. I'm on the fence about that. Whatever. We can have that conversation some other time too. But if you invest in some shit, Dogecoin or whatever the fuck, we're not protecting nothing. You're a dumbass. I don't care what race you are. We shouldn't protect shit. If they legislate the crypto market and start making it more mainstream and all that, I guess that'll be good in theory, that it'll become more widely accepted and stuff. So, yeah, overall positive, whatever. I mean, these statements are so vague that it's literally, they mean nothing. They mean nothing to me because it's so, besides that you're going to print $20 billion, I'm like, what does this even mean? It's so vague. It's done like that on purpose. Don't get me wrong. I get the idea. I know how the game is played. I'm not a complete moron. I'm pretty stupid sometimes, but not. I get it. A health initiative for black men. I guess like what? Like combat obesity or something like that. Like the whole country's fat as hell. Like help everybody, bro. Like it's not just black people that need help. Everybody needs some help out here. This country is fucking. We are fucked with the way we eat food and shit like that. I was just listening to, I can't remember what his name, Casey or something like that on Rogan and on another podcast, Modern Wisdom, where he's talking all about the food system in the United States and the healthcare system. We're fucked. Everybody needs a little health initiative, so that's all positive. No qualms about that. Another very vague thing, like what are we going to do? Nobody knows. Health initiative, keep it going. How about quit letting the government pay for shitty food? And like I grew up on food stamps. Overall, I think my mom fed us pretty good, but I know for a fact you can buy pop, soda, if you're watching this from somewhere else where you guys fucking call it soda, cookies, candy, all this shit. You can buy that all on food stamps, on EBT. I know you can. A bunch of garbage sugar food. Cereal. That's one thing I know for a fact we definitely ate a lot growing up. Eggo waffles, bro. Those things still hit, bro. Not good for you, but I know we could get them with the food stamps. So don't take this as coming from somebody who doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like I grew up on this shit. Like I get the idea. Overall, I'd consider myself relatively healthy, and I think my mom went out of her way to cook pretty well and buy generally whole foods and make us meals. But this shit, you should not be able to use government money on one, sugar, like these sugar and fat filled foods that are literally bad for you. They're killing you. They're killing people with this terrible food. Not to mention it's taxpayer funded awful diet. School systems the same way. I don't think you should really be drinking chocolate and strawberry milk with lunch with your fucking mozzarella Bosco sticks or whatever the fuck they're serving in our school lunch. Like, here's a peanut butter and jelly, a Go-Gurt, and a chocolate milk for lunch. Like, sugar, carbs. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, we all need a little health initiative. Everybody could use a little health initiative up in this motherfucker. It's pretty bad out here. If you could take any of my advice, I would say cut as much sugar out of your diet as you can. Have fun doing it because it's very hard. If you look at anything has added sugar in it all over the place. It's everywhere in an American diet. If you're not from America, thank your lucky stars. Hope you're from Europe or something like that, where they don't let you put as much processed garbage and sugar in all their food, I guess. I don't know. American food tastes better. I'll give them that. The MSG and the sugar does its job, but it's not good for you. And then at the end of this statement, and in its own statement, completely alone by itself, was the legalization of weed. Like, I guess federally now they want to talk about it. A ton of states have already legalized it. I think Ohio actually is. I think actually right over here where I'm getting on the highway, there's like a recreational cannabis thing, like where you can technically get weed without like a prescription for it or anything like that. I think Ohio has legalized it completely recreationally at this point. I don't know. I don't want to get into the whole weed debate or whatever, but this I don't really give a shit about. Whatever. If you maybe followed like Colorado's rules of like legalize it and then any taxes from it go to funding schools, and how about you fund your health initiative with the weed money, I guess. I don't know. Overall, my passive stance on weed is overall maybe it has a net negative impact on people that really need it for like health problems or stuff, but like if you're just using it recreationally for fun, it's bad for you. Anytime you inhale smoke and vapor and shit like that, that's not just air, not good. So whatever, take it for what you will, but if people are already smoking it, let them, and then use the tax money to fund something good. Fund the health initiative, feed these kids a little bit better food, I guess, while they're forced to go to shitty public school. I don't know. But it's kind of funny coming from Kamala, because I feel like, one, I don't know if there's any weed stuff. I had to look into it. Like the crime bill that Biden was like the main person on back in the day, I'm pretty sure put some harsher penalties on smoking weed and other drugs in general. And then Kamala also has been gotten torn apart about this in the past, where she put people in jail for weed charges in California while she was out there. Okay, whatever. I mean, we're flip-flopping on everything at this point. Does it even matter? No, I really don't care. Legalize it, whatever. Is there a big study somewhere that shows a net positive out of legalizing the weed? Who knows? I'm not smoking it. Go ahead. You guys want to smoke it? Go for it. By the time my kids are older and shit, it's like it's gonna be the same problem as cigarettes and shit, like secondhand smoke or whatever. Like, I don't know. Keep it away from me. Generally you smell like shit, I feel like, when you smoke weed. So if you want to do that in your own house, I really don't give a fuck. Go for it. Have a good time. Get high as hell for all I care. And then the other big news, besides these statements they were making, apparently, supposedly, it's been reported that Kamala Harris is entertaining the idea of going on Rogan, on the Joe Rogan Experience. I would love nothing more. Like, this is what we need, okay? Because she's been going on a press tour lately or whatever, like, and if you watch any of this shit, which I ended up watching, I was gonna make a video, got a little busy with the baby this weekend. I listened to like a little over half of the Call Me Daddy podcast, or Call Her Daddy, sorry, fuck, I've already fucked it up, Call Her Daddy podcast, where she went on there and interviewed her or whatever. I'm part of the daddy gang, that's what this lady calls her fans and all this shit. I think this is she was at Barstool before or something like that. This lady's making like $100 million I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Talking about fucking dudes. The Kamala Harris thing was like obviously not about that. Thank the Lord. That would have been a little weird, uncouth to say anything. But they talked about some stuff. I mean, these are like softball interviews. There's no pushback on anything she's saying. She went on 60 Minutes and people were kind of dragging her about that, saying she didn't do as well. Still not that much pushback. The only thing the guy was like a little tough on was like, hey, you flip-flopped on a lot of your positions lately. Why should people trust you? And she gave some bullshit answer that was like a nothing burger again, and then there wasn't really any follow-up after that. I would say, I think Rogan would tone it down for something like this, just because he's not going to be outright like super rude. I just don't think he's that kind of guy. Obviously, I've never met the fucking dude. I've listened to a lot of him talking, and it's pretty unfiltered, I would feel like. So generally, I would think I have a decent idea of how he would come into this interview. It wouldn't be super abrasive, but he wouldn't let shit slide too much. Like, he would definitely push back at least a little bit. And it'd be great. I would love to see that. I would love to see, I've said it before a long time ago, if it was like Trump and Kamala and Rogan, and he kind of just moderated a little debate, because he wouldn't let shit slide, I don't think, on either of them nearly as much as like a general interviewer would when they, and they have Jamie right there. Just start fact checking shit. They say something, I don't think for a second that Rogan would hesitate to be like, hey, hold on, is that true? Look that shit up. And they would look it up and then be like, no, you're completely wrong. Maybe it's partial truth, whatever. Would she agree to do that? No, I don't think so ever. Would Trump agree to do that? I don't think so either. He would maybe go on Rogan by himself just because of the publicity. But I guess they're both doing the podcasting circuit because they're all over the internet. Overall, they're both kind of uninteresting to listen to. I tried to listen to like the Dave Ramsey one where he interviewed Trump. Just not that interesting. I don't really care to listen to it, to be honest. Like I said, I listened to Call Her Daddy. That was also not interesting. No hard-hitting questions. No interesting like debate back and forth about anything. It's just kind of like, question, give me your answer. Next question, really. Like, no substance, not really. The long format stuff is always better, but Rogan's a little different where it's 3 or 4 hours where you're going to sit there and they're just going to talk and talk and talk and talk. Totally different than like an hour scheduled interview where a lot of these are like they have the questions in advance and all that. It's just not that interesting to me. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll have Kamala on Rogan. I would honestly like to see it. Let me see it, because my personal opinion, she doesn't make it through the whole thing without literally like getting torn down on at least a couple of her points where it's like, because like how that guy commented and was like, well, you flip-flopped a lot, and if she was saying something about like she's going hard on the border right now, where she's like, we tighten the border up, the border is safe as it's ever been, blah blah, we're doing great. Rogan wouldn't let that shit slide. There's literally no way. I don't think so personally. And he'd be like, well, here's a chart showing all the people that have come in during the Biden administration, and you're the border czar or whatever, you oversaw it. So how are you going to explain that? And she can't explain it. Like, it's not possible because it's obvious that you're lying. Very similar to, what was the other thing? Like, yeah, like the student loans. You guys promised all this shit. You knew you probably like 90% were not going to be able to do it anyway. Why? What was the point of that? Buy votes. That's what the point of it is. Would they be honest and answer that way? No, they won't. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting too, especially with Trump, if he hit him with like the January 6th stuff. I feel like that's what a lot of Democrats get and liberal people get hung up on, was the January 6th stuff. In my personal opinion, I don't really care that much. Didn't impact me in any way. Do I think our country was about to end that day? No, not really. I think it's a little overblown. Also not good at all, like obviously very bad, but not the worst thing to ever happen. I think Kamala said worse than 9/11. That's tough. No, I don't think so. or was it Pearl Harbor? No, I can't remember. Either one, not even close. I don't make I wouldn't draw lines between those two things. Not the same. Not even close. But maybe Rogan would go after Trump on that and be like, just admit that was bad. You should have done more to prevent it. And I don't know if Trump would, because that's how Trump is. He's very, I will never admit to doing any wrong, no matter what it is. So who knows? We can hope. That'd be the best shit, I think, for everybody in the whole country. Not to mention, I mean, I feel like liberal and Democrat people have been smearing Rogan for like since COVID, when he was like bucking the general narrative and things like that. So I think it'd be a good, not like he lost his popularity. I think Rogan's probably just as big as ever, so not like that, but it would still be a good full circle thing for him to have. It's a pretty big deal to have like a presidential debate on your podcast, because it's the biggest platform. I mean, he'd have, I don't know, 50 million views, 100 million views maybe, if he had them on there for 3 or 4 hours. If it's just one of them, he'll probably get 20 to 50 million views or something like that. But if it's both, that'd be the biggest shit of the whole election cycle, bar none. Wouldn't even be close. But you guys gotta let me know. would you like to see that? Because I think if you're watching some content like this, you definitely would. It'd be interesting for sure. I don't know. That's all. That's everything I got for the day. Completely political video, so hope you got something out of it. Hope you learned something. I don't know. Also, let me know if you think that's just goofy. This like 5 or 6 step plan to help, I guess, black men with just general things that would help everybody in the whole country. Like, except for the part where we just say give people free money. I'm not on the boat with that, but better support and education. Check. Give it to everybody. That's good stuff. Even if we got to spend more money. Protect crypto, I guess. Okay, whatever. Nobody cares. Health insurance. Health initiatives. Yes. This country's unhealthy as shit. That's good stuff. We love that. Everybody loves that. Everybody can get on board with that, of course. And legalize weed. Whatever. Sure. I don't care. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. It's Wednesday. I'll see y'all then.